Well, now slideshow.
No,
Do you
not
see
on my screen.
Mhm.
I can see your screen, ma'am.
So just a minute. So
Yes, ma'am.
okay,
Now we'll see.
full screen, right? Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Listening.
Yes. Now let us focus on listening task. And if we have a look at the sentences on this slide, so they are from the conversation between a doctor and a patient. What are they talking about? Can we understand just looking at these sentences? Yes?
They're talking about diet,
Weight
healthy
loss.
lifestyle, weight loss.
Yes, yes, and weight loss, which is very important. You're right.
Anorexia
Okay.
nervosa. The case of anorexia nervosa.
Yes, the changes in the lifestyle. Okay. Well, and yes, now let us listen to the conversation. And now we should decide which statements are true and which statements are false. And you tell me if you can hear.
Listening to.
It isn't easy to
Yes,
lose weight as there are so
Okay, you can hear. So Jawal is joining us. Okay, let's start from the
Listening to.
It isn't easy to lose weight as there are so many ways to do it that people find it difficult to choose from them. And there are so many temptations as well. Have you tried to diet before?
Yes, but none of them worked.
What did you do?
I've tried various diets like the Atkins diet, and I've bought various commercial diets, but I found I couldn't stick to them.
What do you think the problem is?
I tend to snack a lot during the day with crisps and fizzy drinks and biscuits and sweets. I'm sitting around a lot at work, and I've tried to cut out all these things, but it's impossible.
It's difficult to break habits like this, but there are ways around it. Rather than cutting out everything suddenly, it's perhaps better to do it gradually. You could have diet cola instead of the normal cola, or better still, fresh fruit juice, low-fat crisps, and introduce some fruit. The danger is trying to do everything at one time and then giving up. Then, when you get used to it, you can make more changes.
Maybe I could give it a go.
What about exercise?
Well, I spend most of my day at a desk. When I was younger, I used to swim and I did some yoga, but not anymore.
We've all been a bit more active in the past. Have you thought of taking up swimming again?
Yes, but it's time. After work, I'm too tired to do anything, and it's difficult to cut down eating as it makes me irritable.
Okay, let us comment on each of the statements here on this slide. And Aman, the first is for you.
Yes, ma'am. The patient has tried to do diet before. It is true.
Yes, so she's speaking about some commercial diets, but it didn't
Yes, ma'am.
work for her. Okay, so Apeksha?
Yes, ma'am. The patient has tried to stop eating crisp and other junk foods in the past is also true because the patient tried to stop eating this packet foods, but he was not able to, but he tried. So this sentence is true.
Okay, good. So Misha?
Yes, ma'am. The doctor suggests a gradual approach. It is true. Because
It's
doctor
true.
stated that you have to start one by one, step by step. It is very dangerous to do all the things together and leave it together.
Yes, and it's very hard, of course. Okay, now Nivas?
Yes, ma'am. Fourth one is the doctor is sympathetic to the patient situation.
This is true.
Yes, it's true because he says that he understands how the patient feels, so he is rather sympathetic.
ma'am.
Okay, then Priyesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Me.
So,
The patient is elected to try the approach suggested by the doctor. No, ma'am. False. She didn't actually took up the swimming one, ma'am. She
yes,
said no.
she really wants to change something. Yes, Vandana, I'm sorry to miss you. Vandana, yes?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am. And the doctor suggests taking up yoga as an exercise. It's false, ma'am. The doctor suggests taking her past exercise, which was swimming.
Swimming, yes. She used to swim when she was younger. Okay. So is Rakhav here? No. Ujjwal, please.
The patient excuse is to do with injury, and this is a false statement because the excuse is it's time management.
Yes. Time management. Okay. Good. So you see that being sympathetic in a conversation to a patient is very important.
Listening to.
And so how would you describe the doctor's approach? Sensitive or annoying?
Sensitive.
Sensitive, of course. And the question, would the doctor's suggestions work in all cases, in any situation?
Ma'am. No, ma'am, it won't.
Oh, ma'am, it
Ma'am, it
won't.
differs
does-
from patient to patient. It differs from patient to patient.
So it depends
And
on.
if I take my example, I'll like many people, like a doctor has suggested me to eat more food, but for me, it's like if I go and exercise, then I'll get hungry and only then I eat food. So it is not always necessary that the doctor's suggestion will work.
Yes.
It differs from the patient to patient.
Ma'am, body to body type differs, ma'am. So, for
Mhm.
example, ma'am, there are some
Metabolism.
people who go into ketosis very well and they lose weight through ketosis, and there are people who can't go into ketosis, ma'am. So, I mean, this varies from person to person and how the body type works, ma'am, the metabolism rate and all.
Yes, yes, and the doctor should find these factors out.
Yes, ma'am. We do it, try hit and turn on all these, ma'am. Then we get it.
For my body, I gain weight very lately and I lose weight very easily. Like I will lose in a week or twice, week or two. But to gain the same weight, it takes months or 2 months. So it depends on the
So-
metabolism
You
of
are
the
so
person.
lucky, so lucky.
Ma'am, our metabolism is very
Work for
fast.
me.
Eat more,
So
eat more.
no, I used to do sports when I was a kid, so it has adopted from that.
I see. Okay, let's move on. And here's the chart, the information about BMI. So this abbreviation stands for Body Mass Index. And here we can see the BMI chart. And it should help us to encourage our patient, Mr. Ford, to lose his weight through exercise. So we need to explain him what is wrong with his body, because he weighs 110 kilograms and is 1 meter 80 centimeters tall, and his waist size is 110 centimeters. And here in the chart you can see different parameters like what comes across down, this is the height in feet and inches to the left, and to the right we can see the same parameter like height, but in metric system, in the meters. We can also see the weight. To the bottom of at the bottom of the chart we can see weight in stones. And at the top of the chart, there is weight in kilograms, also the metric system. And let us focus on the color. So in the chart, you see that the light color shows that the person is underweight, if his weight is in this zone. And then
Yes,
just darker, like yellow, color shows that the zone where the person has the normal weight, Then there is overweight, darker the color, then orange is obese and red is morbidly obese. So if we have a look at the height of Mr. Ford, this is 180 centimeters. So, and he's so he's yes, he's obese, yes. Well, can you just, how can you use this chart in just explaining Mr. Ford what's wrong with his body? So you should convince him to start doing some, to start losing his weight. Who would like to explain the situation to Mr. Ford? Your name is, what's your name?
Priyesh.
Priyesh, please. Yes, Priyesh.
Ma'am, see, if I need one. So, Mr. Ford, as we see that your height is 1.80 meters and you're weighing 110 kilograms. So, first of all, we need to check in this chart where you actually weigh. So, when we go down and we check it, we see that you are at the edge, at the middle of this obese, this overweight issue. So, I would like to suggest you that you should lose some weight to get into normal weight range. And I think you need to lose approximately 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to lose approximately 35 kilograms. It isn't a very large amount, but a consistent effort will help you get it done easily. And being fit and healthy is really important because a healthy mind resides in a healthy body. So you should particularly work towards this thing. Ma'am, like this, I'll explain you.
Yes, perfect. So great. And you say he should lose how much? So
30 to 35 kilograms, ma'am. To come
30.
into the.
Yes, okay. Because the normal weight for him is starting with 60 and just up to 85, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, exactly. Ma'am, mine is same, 5'11" and 84 right now.
Okay, good. So well done, thank you. So and you see that just demonstrating some just scientific proof to the patient can help to convince them do something with their health. And now let us focus on some language just issues. So while encouraging patients and making suggestions, we can use modal verbs. So for tentative suggestions, you can use the modals could, can, might, and they are very close in meaning. They mean the same. So the doctor can use the phrases like this, like given here on the slide. You could, for example, get off the bus one stop early, or you can, for example, get off the bus one stop early, or you might like to try, for example, getting off the bus one stop early. All of them are possible. You know that to make suggestions, there are some other modal verbs like should and ought. So should, shouldn't, ought, oughtn't to are used for strong suggestions. Generally, these verbs are used in order to give advice, but be careful, this can be annoying rather than encouraging and are probably best avoided. So you can give such piece of advice to your friend, for example, or to your colleague who you are close to, like this: you should give up smoking, or you shouldn't eat fatty foods. But you should avoid this, the use of these modals in the conversation to your patient. It's better to use as the previously could, can, might. So, and
like statement.
Sorry?
Statement, then an advice.
Yes, you're right. This is a statement and advice. Okay. And here, I would like you to look at the sentences and we should change the sentences. You see that most of them, they have, there is a modal verb should, which is very strong, and we should make it more polite, and starting with the phrase which is given in the brackets. So it's very easy. Now let us just ask Sayonika, are you here? No, she's ill. Rohit, are you here? No. Ritik, please. Read the sentence. No. Number one, yes.
You should try to take it for a couple of days and have a couple of days off. Have you thought to try it a couple of days or a couple of days?
Mhm. So have you thought of trying? So after the preposition, we need to use the gerund, yes? The ing form of the verb. So the verb try, have you thought of trying to take it easy? Okay, good. So, Moht, please.
Yes, ma'am. You should step up the exercise very gradually. So, ma'am, the sentence like it's better to step up the exercise very gradually.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
Aman,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Spend more time on the physically demanding form of the exercise. You could spend your time more on the physically demanding form of exercises.
Okay, great. So Apeksha?
Yes, ma'am. Eat white meat or fish where you can rather than red meat. So the sentence goes, instead of eating red meat, you can prefer white meat or maybe a fish.
Yes. Misha, please.
Yes, ma'am. You should do something which will get you about and you out and about. You should try and do something which will get you out and about.
Without should, yes. Try and do something. Okay. Well, and Nivas?
Yes, ma'am. You should have a balanced rather than a crash diet. Correct one is you might take a balanced diet instead of crash diet.
Great. Thank you. And now on this slide, we can see some more ideas of what to recommend, how to encourage a patient who is trying to lose weight. We should start with the phrases which are given in italics. Try to avoid if you can, you could have instead, so on. And the ideas are given to the left. So the ideas about foods to avoid, about meat, what kind of meat, dairy products, about ways of cooking food, about drinking. So please, connect these beginnings with the ideas from the box, just to make, to encourage the patient to lose weight. Vandana, start please.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the first sentence goes like foods to avoid: fatty foods, salt, sugar, crisps, biscuits, cake, etc. We can use try to avoid, like if you could try to avoid fatty food, salt, sugar, crisps, biscuit, cakes, etc. It will show better effect on your health.
Okay, what about the other ideas, Vandana?
And we can also use if you can is like higher possibility.
Okay, so
if you can avoid the
no, I mean, so take just speak about another idea. If you can add some dairy products.
Yes. I got it wrong. If you can add a portion and preferably more fruits and vegetables a day.
So the other ideas. Okay, thank you, Vandana. Priyesh, what can you add?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, which one, ma'am?
Yes. So Priyesh.
Ma'am, for this one, if you can, ma'am, or fiber, ma'am, if you can take enough amount of fibers for your diet, it will be good for your uh, uh, digestion and stool passing. Then, ma'am, white meat versus red meat, we can say that if you could have white meat rather instead of having red meat, it will be better.
Mhm, mhm.
Or, ma'am, it is better to you. It is better to have white meat rather than red meat.
Okay, okay. So thank you. So Ujjwal, what would you recommend? Ujjwal,
Ma,
are you here? No. So who's there next? So this is Ritik.
Yes, ma'am.
So what haven't we spoken about yet? About yes.
Fresh vegetables a day, about 5%. Fruit and vegetables to make your diet healthy. To lose weight.
Mhm. Okay. So did you speak about ways of cooking? So who can say the sentence about cooking?
Try to use less oily food diet, not frying,
Mhm, mhm,
less fried foods in the diet, and try to avoid like saturated fats like ghee, etc.
mhm. Okay. So you see, this is these are the ways of just that we can just speak to recommend that can help, can really help in to lose weight. And let us focus on some details. When a doctor talks to his patient, so this is a kind of negotiation. So, and so it should be effective, and effective negotiation on the part of a doctor or nurse requires sympathy and empathy. Actually, they are very close in the meaning to each other, these words, but there is a slight difference. And here the definitions are given, so we can understand the difference. So sympathy, this is feeling the patient from your knowledge of other people's experience. It's like in the picture from your logic, from your brain. So the idea is you remember something and you speak about from other people's experience. And empathy, feeling that is based on personal experience, like you've experienced it yourself, and this feeling comes from your heart, like in the second picture. This is the main difference. And if we look at the next slide, so let us decide which of these best explains sympathy and which empathy. So, Moht, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
So the first one, please.
Understanding the patient's feeling because you have seen other patient in similar situation before. So, ma'am, this one is the example of sympathy.
Sympathy, yes. Other patients. Thank you. Aman, please, the second one.
Mixture of self-experience and understanding of the patient's condition.
Is it
Empathy?
Empathy, exactly. Good, Peksha.
Yes, ma'am. Understanding what the patient is feeling because you have experienced it yourself. It's empathy.
Also empathy, good. And Misha?
An understanding of what patient is feeling based on clinical knowledge, it is sympathy.
Yes, it's very easy. What about these statements?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the previous slide, the second sentence. Ma'am, can you please repeat it? Yeah, ma'am. This one, a mixture of self-experience and understanding of patient's condition. Ma'am, I think this one is the example of sympathy.
Sympathy, but this is about self-experience.
Ma'am, a mixture of self-experience and understanding.
Okay.
Ma'am, understanding of the patient condition is also there now. So I think this one is sympathy.
Okay, so I mean that the difference is very just small.
Yeah,
No.
ma'am, very minor difference.
Yes, I can agree. Well, and so if we have a look at these statements made by doctor, we should also decide which are sympathetic and which are empathetic. So, Nivas,
Yes, ma'am. First one is, I know it's not easy to change habits because I have faced the same problem myself. This sentence is empathetic.
exactly. Okay, then Vandana.
Yes, ma'am. Giving up smoking isn't easy, but have you thought perhaps of cutting down gradually? I think it is personal because the doctor is asking the patient if he has tried himself.
So is it sympathetic or empathetic?
Ma'am, it is first of all personal
Personal. Okay, if it is personal,
because
it's
the doctor is asking.
empathetic. Empathetic, yes. Okay, good. And
Ma'am, the second question looks like sympathetic.
sympathetic.
Yes.
Giving up
Ma'am,
smoking.
it's sympathy and personal to the patient, not the doctor.
Okay,
So
yes,
it's sympathy.
because we don't know whether the doctor has tried to give up smoking, whether he smoked in the past.
Yes.
Yes, so
The doctor
this
is talking about the patient himself.
yes, and what about in general, what he knows about smoking.
Ma'am,
Okay.
Ujjwal and Priyesh are trying to join, but due to the connection or net drain issue, they are not able to join here. There is
I
raining in the
see.
India, so due to the network connection, they are not able to join.
I see. Yes, this is Priyesh and Ujjwal, right?
Ujjwal.
I see. Okay, so Raghav is absent. Rohit is absent. So Ritik, please. This is for you. Number 2 or number 3. Sorry. Just
When people try changing like this, at first it seems difficult. When the doctor seems sympathetic and they speak about the truth, or we can say basically the doctor experience, like
Yes.
seeing in. So
Mm.
he aware about the people
I
who
think
like to do.
it's like sympathy. Yes, it's sympathetic. Okay, and Schweib, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
So, sorry.
Ma'am, the third one.
So,
when people,
number 4.
Fourth one, I appreciate it's difficult, but have you thought of the advantage of giving up? Ma'am, I think this one is empathetic.
Empathetic?
Yes, ma'am.
The advantage is it's not very so personal.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's more sympathetic. And the
Yes.
last one, Aman, number 5.
I know what it's like because I have been there myself. It's understanding, so sympathy.
Sympathetic or empathetic?
It's empathy.
Empathy, because I've been there myself. So
Okay.
about self-experience. Okay. Unfortunately, we are short of time. That is why I suggest you to read the article about overweight and obesity. So it consists of several paragraphs. Let us start reading. And Apeksha, please, you begin.
Yes, ma'am. Overweight and obesity have become worldwide concerns reaching epidemic proportions. Obesity is caused by an energy imbalance where energy intake exceeds energy expended over the time. This imbalance has been linked to lifestyle factors such as increased consumption of foods with high levels of sugar and saturated fats, as well as the reduction in physical activity.
So this is about the causes of obesity and about the factors it's linked to. Well, and now Misha, please.
Yes, ma'am. Overweight and obesity pose a major risk to long-term health by increasing the risk of the chronic illness such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and some of the cancers. It has been estimated that obesity and its associated illness cost
Australian society and government a total of $21 billion in 2005. In July 2006, the Australian government implemented a 5-year $500 million program, the Australian Better Health Initiative, aimed at reducing the impacts of the chronic disease, which includes a focus on promoting the healthy weight.
This is about the diseases that are connected with obesity and some government programs implemented in Australia. And now the next is for Nivas.
Yes, ma'am. This article discusses adults who are classified as overweight or obese according to their body mass index, that is BMI, and based on self-reported height and weight.
Also plus self evaluation. And so now, Vandana, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Read it, please.
In 2004 and 5, more than half, 54% of all adults, or 7.4 million people aged 18 years and over, were either overweight or obese, and increased from 45%, that is 5.4 million adults, in 1995. Using each standardized data, the rate of overweight adults has increased from 33% in 1995 to 36% in 2004-2005, while the rate of obesity in adults has increased from 13% to 18% over the same period. Each of the National Health Surveys conducted since 1995 has reported a higher rate of overweight and obesity for males than for females.
Yes, it's very interesting. Higher rate for males than for females. So a lot of data, a lot of information here. Well, if we move, let us listen to. Is Priyesh here? Priyesh? Ujjwal? No. Ritik, please.
Yes, ma'am. For many people, elderly men and older women, self-perception of acceptable weight differs from the standard BMI definitions. This may have implications for the management of healthy body weight in adults. In year 2004 and 2005, more than half of the adults, that is 63% of males and rest of females, 59% considered themselves to be an acceptable weight. The proportion of males 32% and females, that is 38%, who considered themselves to be overweight is considerably lower than those who were classified as overweight, obese according to their BMI, 62% and 45% respectively.
You see, yes. So the people think that their weight is normal. So okay, and Moht, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see?
The structure of the population. The proportion of the people in the overweight and obese BMI categories who considered themselves to be of acceptable weight increase. In 2004-2005, almost half, 47% of males and around 1/5, 21% of females who were overweight or obese considered themselves to be of acceptable weight. This compare with age standardized rate of male of around 1/3, 35% for males and 12% for females in 1995.
So the period of about 10 years here. Okay, so there are some sentences. Obesity is the result of what? According to the text.
Ma'am, bad food habit.
Yes, lifestyle factors
Energy
associated.
imbalance.
Energy imbalance. Yes, you're
Where
right.
Yes,
energy
ma'am.
intake exceeds the energy expand over the time.
The energy imbalance because of the bad food habit.
Yes,
the junk
and
food and all.
okay, lifestyle
Unhealthy
factors associated with obesity are
increase in the consumption of food with the high level of sugar and saturated fat, and
okay.
there is reduction in physical activity.
Yes, okay. And let us just, obesity affects long-term health by
Increasing
Making some
risk of
chronic
Increasing the risk of
disease,
such as
diseases,
diabetes, cardiovascular
cardiovascular
disease, and
disease,
cancer.
and
and some
cancer
cancer,
also.
yes, of course. And the cost of obesity in Australia, what was it?
Ma'am,
How much?
$21 billion.
21 billion.
21 billion dollars.
Billion dollar.
Who shows a higher rate of obesity?
Males show a
Males.
higher rate of obesity than females.
Approximately
And-
54%.
Yes, than
Yes.
women. And self-perception of own body weight among men and older women has implications for
Management of healthy food adults.
the management, yes, of healthy body weight in adults. Thank you. Okay. Now, yes, we have some time to speak about home assignment. So you remember that we've done something on, so on the site, this site, the link is given here, in the course English for medical professionals, and we should follow the link and choose the advanced level, and then we choose medical English for health professionals, and then you will see the table of content like this, and available sample module is number 2, taking a medical history. And then if we just click on this, we'll see the units. We've done the unit 1, 2, 3, and so you should complete units 4 and unit 5, and you should also just take the screenshots and upload the screenshot in the form of the PDF file to the Moodle site. So this is the home assignment for the next class.
Yes.